What's goody, Shellitronnn here. You can call me Shells, and I'm back at again with a brand new video. And I'm gonna keep it a Bowberry biscuit. Everything's falling into plan. Everything happened exactly how we saw it happening. Step 1, pull up to Atlanta in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Claim it for yourself. Step 2, assert dominance. Step 3, allow the Falcons to do what they do best. And that's lose. I'm not gonna lie to you. This game was not a surprise to me. I was not shook, shaken, taken aback, or even in the least bit worried about what the outcome of this contest between the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons was gonna be. 1 p.m. October 11th, a warm day for October. You know, we're in the South. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. But when you have Matt Ryan as your quarterback, what do you expect realistically? Dirk Cutter did not have very much to work with. Dan Quinn, God rest his soul, did not have very much to work with because he has Matt Ryan under center. Matt Ryan just got his head coach fired. Dan Quinn is a great coach, the greatest coach. I'm hearing people telling me all the time, you know, Dan Quinn, he's one of the best coaches that everyone's saying he's the best coach. I hear good things about him, excellent things, tremendous things about Dan Quinn. He's really bigly good at what he does, but Dan Quinn stands today as a victim and a criminal. His only charge, the only law he broke was having Matt Ryan as a quarterback when he is subpar and has no business being in the league anymore. Okay, now that the Falcons fans are out of here, let's talk football. Let's talk real football with real football fans who know a thing about football. Let's talk amongst ourselves about what happened in this game. Once again, both sides of the ball really showed up. I am very impressed with what Joe Brady has done on offense and what my man Phil Snow has done on defense. Let's focus on the defense because we have a lot to speak on when it comes to the offense. Honestly, there's lots we could go either way, honestly. But let's go to the defense first. Let's talk about how a defense starts off pretty strong. Then, once things start to shake up a little bit in the pass game, the Falcons realize they really can't pass on us early, and they start running. We see Todd Gurley start to eat. We see Brian Hill start to eat. We see Ito Smith start to eat a little bit. Just a little bit here and there. But we see these dudes start making moves on our D-line, and it looks a little dark, right? No, first of all, let's be honest here. Let's be honest. We were never really in all that deep of water. We were never really all that concerned about how the game would end up. But there was a little bit of concern about how this defense was responding to the Falcons' attack. We were doing pretty well against the pass until they established the run. And that's something that someone asked me in my live stream, in my pregame stream I did earlier today. Someone asked me what the 1v1 player matchup of the day was going to be. People were saying Dante Jackson versus Calvin. People were saying Rasul Douglas versus Calvin. The biggest factor in this game was going to be Jeremy Chinn and Todd Gurley, because the biggest way that you establish any kind of pass game with your number one receiver and Julio Jones out is to establish the run. If you can establish the run and then work off of play action, the Falcons could have found a way to make their offense move. And there was a few times where we saw that the run being successful numerous times in a row did open up some very good play action. There were some times they drew up some really weird bootlegs for Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan, I wouldn't call him a statue in the pocket. He's athletic enough to move around and roll out. I would not call him the most athletic quarterback in the league, not even top 5, honestly, but he can move back there, you know, in the backfield going east-west. Wouldn't trust him going north-south, but anyway, Matt Ryan is decent enough rolling out the pocket. But let's be honest, Matt Ryan just had the worst receivers I have seen in a minute. These dudes made plays here and there. Calvin really had a few good plays here and there, but there were just so many drops by the Falcons. And I gotta say, that's my boys on the Panthers defense making these dudes scared to touch the ball when they had a chance. They had a chance, but the moment was too big. They did not have their daddy Julio Jones on the field with them, so the pressure mounted and they had no idea what to do. There was a ton of drops. We had a lot of good possessions on defense. We played a lot of very strong bend, but don't break defense in the second half. In particular, it was 20-7 going into halftime. We know the defense looked good in the first half. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, the offense looked great in the first half. But it was the defense when the Falcons came out and discovered how to actually play a little bit of football in the second half, and the defense was getting pushed back. They were getting pushed back. There were some things happening here and there, but they bent but didn't break. They bent but didn't break. Only allowed 9 points in the second half, all field goals, and the ball was moving. We saw Todd Gurley get 14 carries for a $121, averaging 8.6 yards per carry. There was a big one for 35 yards, got a touchdown as well. That was getting kind of scary. Brian Hill did have 6 carries, 39 yards, averaging 6.5. But Matt Ryan, who can best be described at this point in his career as the best possible backup quarterback in the league, only contributed 226 passing yards, 21 for 37, no touchdowns, 1 interception. That is never going to get the job done at the NFL level. And the defense just really pulled up and they stopped him. We got 2 sacks on him. Marquise Haynes and Brian Burns both came through with 1 single sack to make that up. And we saw some really good things out of them. Brian Burns did go out with a concussion. That was because on the play, I think it was the one where Marquise Haynes forced the fumble, Justin Burris tried to scoop and score when the ball went 15, 20 yards behind Matt Ryan. He should have fell on the ball. He did not. The Falcons recovered. And the very next play, we had 3 or 4 different Panthers make a tackle on 1 Falcon. I think Cornell was on that play, but someone hit Brian Burns in the head. He was out for the rest of the game. It was a concussion scare. If it weren't for Justin Burris attempting a hero ball play, that would never have happened. But Justin Burris did make it up later on in the game by getting that pick on Matt Ryan in the end zone. They had a really good drive going. The Falcons were looking real scary. He gets to within the 10-yard line, around the 10-yard line, and he just throws the scariest, ugliest, dumbest, just most shook-looking interception I have ever seen. A quarterback who's been I don't know how he made it. I don't know how he was an MVP one year, but he was an MVP one year, and he threw that interception. He was just out of it. Matt Ryan just did not know what he was doing, and Justin Burris did redeem himself there. But let's stop talking about bad quarterbacks. I want to talk about a quarterback with a little bit of talent. Can we please do that? Do y'all know a quarterback by the name of Teddy Bridgewater? This man was 27 of 37, 313 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he did not get sacked once. That is the function of a very good play calling game from Joe Brady. That is a function of very elite O-line play from all the guys up front. Dennis Daly was a healthy scratch. Russell Okung was a veteran out there. He finally came back in the game. He looked good out there. The O-line played very solid. Teddy had multiple plays where he just had way too much time to look around and make a pass. He was sitting out there calling dominoes, saying, wait a minute, what am I calling dominoes? Y'all nasty as hell. Hung up the phone, looked at the stand, said, you're ugly. You're ugly. You're a Falcons fan. You're all ugly, and then pass the ball. This man, Teddy Bridgewater, was a monster today, and it looked like he heard all the talk from the fans, read all the comment threads, read all the tweets, the IG posts from Panthers fans, and he actually made a point early on in the game to target Curtis Samuel very often. He did the game with 5 targets and 5 receptions for 36 yards, so not really an explosive game for him, but damn, 5 targets, 5 receptions looks really good compared to how he was getting looked at earlier on this season. There's really not been a game where he was the focal point of the passing attack. But once again, we see Robbie Anderson getting his 100 yards, 8 receptions on 13 targets for 112 yards. DJ Moore, someone said DJ needs to get more love. He had 5 targets, 4 receptions for 93 yards. His long was 57, and he got a touchdown as well up the left sideline. This man, DJ, is a monster. Robbie Anderson is also a monster. Mike Davis came through with just under 150 yards from scrimmage. I'm not going to lie to you. 60 yards receiving on 9 receptions, and then getting another 89 yards on the ground on 16 carries, averaging 5.6 yards per carry. Those are CMAC numbers. Please correct me if I'm wrong. 149 yards from scrimmage, getting about 89 on the ground, 60 through the air, 24 total touches combined between running and receiving. I'm not gonna lie to you. Those sound to me like CMAC Memorial numbers that you see every single week. So I'm really interested to see how this team is gonna function, well, how the offense will function once CMAC comes back. How do we use these players? Running backs are creatures of habit. You have to get them going. They have to have some momentum, and then they can make plays. So I want to see just how often Mike Davis gets in the game once we have CMAC back. I'm really interested to see what Joe Brady and Matt Rule do with that. But as of right now, the offense is just clicking. The offense looks good. Anytime we struggled, we found a way to make things work. It was never really, there were some times, actually, no. There were some times where the play calling looked a little weird, where formations looked a little confusing to me. But I think that's because Joe Brady wants to confuse the defense and give them so many different looks. But the other thing is, there was a formation and a play call we run all the time, way too often. I called this same exact play happening 3 different times in this game. I predicted these things would happen coming out of timeouts because it's so obvious that the Panthers love going into heavy sets and making it look like they're gonna run, and it always ends up being play action, and the action goes to the right side, and it's a look to either your tight end or Mike Davis coming out of the backfield. It's the only read in that play, and we do it so often. I just become, look, I become Nostradamus or something, Miss Cleo or something. I can just see and sniff these plays coming out, and I know these defensive coordinators for other teams are seeing us run this play very often on the goal line and in third and short situations. Anywhere on the field, you have to be aware of it. And the biggest problem with that isn't that we're running that, it's that we don't actually run the ball out of that formation, out of that look very often, or at least often enough to really trick me. Me just watching at home, I'm calling these plays happening. I'm calling it before it happens. So I think we need to be a little bit more creative and find another goal line play, find another third and short play, just so we can have something else in the arsenal. Other than that, we played great. 23-16, this seemed like a very close, very, tight game all the way through. I think it was really the function of a few mistakes here and there, some play calls that went kind of bad, the Falcons just not ever being on the same page, and when they had something going that looked really good, they looked like us in the first 2 weeks. Offense moved around, but then they made a bad mistake, a bad play call, and the offense, the whole drive just stalled. The defense just looked inconsistent, and even with having Ricardo Allen and Keanu Neal back, they just did not look ready to play the game of football today. It is what it is. Who would have thought the Panthers would be tied for first place in the NFC South after 5 weeks? The Falcons are not getting any better. Vita Vea just went down for the Bucks. The Saints look very vulnerable. They are very beatable by us or maybe even other teams. There are ways to beat these teams. Someone told me this was a tank year. Someone told me this team is not good when you have positivity and a Jake Delhomme jersey. Anything is possible. The way I see it, this is just a really good game. 23-16, won by 7 points, low scoring game. I think this was the under for this game for you gambling addicts out there. Also, before I end this video, I just want to say thank you guys. During the live stream, during the game, we cracked 7,000 subscribers. That is amazing. That's wild to me. I don't know how far we were before we went live this morning, but 7,000 subscribers, that is a bunch. That's buku numbers, bro. That is huge. That's all y'all. And I appreciate y'all. That's all I got for you for this game, man. Panthers win, Falcons lose. Things are exactly as they should be. I don't want to hear nothing about no Falcons curse or Mercedes-Benz Dome curse. You might want to find a new car to drive. Y'all are whipping a Pinto right now. Y'all whipping a Windstar at this moment, a minivan. Anyways, that's all for you, man. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below, and you already know what to do with that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Been told y'all I been the man. Been told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.